can talk louder, but I feel like if I'm talking loud like this, I feel like I'm trying to talk louder, and it's weird.
Okay. Let's do the episode, and then we can decide after if we want to do a pre-roll thing.
Your mom's a pre-roll thing.
Ew.
Is that
Boy.
because you can't control your body and your obesity and diabetes? Is that the reason you want to have control over something?
Can I get a oh yeah?
What? What? What?
What is wrong with us?
Really?
Why is this table so squeaky?
All of a
I'm
sudden,
about to lose my mind. Stop it.
Why?
Oh, my gosh. This table is ridiculous. All right.
Hang on. Can you expound on?
Welcome back to the My Life, Your Life Together podcast with yours truly, Big Daddy Wayne, and Mr. Sexy Coffee. That's Zach and Zach. Today,
So hang on.
we are
Rewind
doing
here.
our
So
Q&A episode.
obviously, in part of the fertilization process,
posted
you
it, and
had them
several
remove part of your
people
testicle.
responded,
Can you explain to me?
gave us lots of good questions. We posted asking for question topics. Some are
No, I get-
serious,
I-
some are
I get that
goofy,
part.
some are
Yeah.
somewhere in between, some
Playing
are
the
weird.
pelvic pinnacle.
You know,
I didn't expect any strangers to submit questions, but I am kind of sad that no strangers just asked a random question.
there's anonymous.
We'll get to that one.
Okay, I didn't read that one.
You didn't read
yet,
that one?
no.
Okay. It's not quite anonymous. I actually,
while
as
it's
soon as
fresh.
I got the question, I texted the person and called him a name.
So today
Right.
we're going to go through these questions that people have sent in and give you our answers. Some of them, like I said, some of them are going to be serious.
I'm
maybe a
so
little
excited.
deep, and some of these are going to be funny and goofy and fun to get into. So
I'm so flippin' excited. One thing I will say, I think we should do this like a couple times a year.
I think that's
'Cause,
a
like, this-
fantastic idea.
Because I think the more we do it, maybe more questions will pop up. But like, these are hilarious. Like Zach said, some of them are serious, some of them are normal, and some of them I'm actually genuinely
don't wanna ever
concerned
look
for
at
the
your
well-being
balls.
and mental state of
The
people who
person has submitted it, like, are you okay,
Sir?
Is there something? Are you okay? Do you need help?
Do you feel safe in your own head? Because I don't.
All right.
This episode is brought to you by Long Island Iced Tea.
So how it works is I'll do a little
No particular brand.
Captain Morgan.
both of you, and then
Are we? They're not our sponsors, but they should be.
My leg is up on a barrel right now.
It is. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Totally. Your leg is up on a barrel.
Do you have
Okay.
any
Definitely not sitting at a table.
What's our
rules
first
on
question?
Overtalk. So like,
Are we announcing like who these
wait
are?
3
Who
seconds
these
to
are from?
respond, So there's like.
Are we-
dead end,
Yeah, I
cut
mean,
things
like,
out, it doesn't
we'd
matter.
say, because some people did put in more than
And do
one
they corral the dog
question.
somewhere so
Some
they're not, like, in
people
the
didn't put
background?
their name. Some people have chosen to go under a different name, even though I'm fairly certain
Alias.
I know who the people are.
A couple times.
I disavow
Brian.
that
Pretty
entirely.
fly for a
I
Brian.
have nothing to do with this. No.
So
Zach Jenkins with a high five.
his first
Oh my
question
God.
is, what is the underrated worst
I wanna get
part
married at some point,
about
so I
being
can't have this.
diabetics?
What's that?
Wow.
He's not born yet.
So many things to choose from.
Yeah.
They're taking him from the testicular tissue.
Outside of just the limiting factor of like, hey, there's only certain
my
things
type.
you can do in your life. Only, like, hey, if the apocalypse happens, you got like a little
Wait,
bit.
that
Nobody
was the whole
wants
thing?
to
We're not
live
done?
through the apocalypse anyway.
Listen,
No.
listen.
No.
My personality, I'm like, all right, survivalist, let's go. Let's become,
No.
Thank you.
Just send,
Book of
just send me
Eli,
to
you know.
heaven.
I honestly rolled out of bed into these clothes. I had no idea what was going to happen. It just happened to match.
You're like,
Not on purpose.
dummy, I'm just
Dummy.
going to give up and go
Yeah.
to heaven.
That's
Um,
not true.
The other part is like,
Okay.
I have some
really
needle horror stories. I'm sure you do too. Like,
Wait.
I've just had a lot of bad experiences.
Don't go together.
with needles
No,
because
they don't.
they're a pretty
How do they
big
go
part
together?
of what we have to deal with all the
Yes,
time.
they go together, but they're not. They don't mix. Is my point.
So I don't know.
I mean, I think if I look at the worst part, I don't really understand the underrated
we're
worst
fighting.
part.
I'm black, you're both white. We don't mix.
I get what he's trying
Yin
to
and
say.
yang. There's separation. There's delineation between the black and the white.
But the worst part, I mean, would either be the financial aspect or just how hard everyday life is sometime. Like just having to do, hold on, I can't drive yet because my blood sugar's low. And if I get into an accident, even though I probably won't, if I do, that's bad news bears for my license.
Well, you look fine.
So that's what I would say it is for me. But
shorts on,
like right now, my diabetes is under control.
T-shirt?
I'm handling it well, but I'm still paying hand over fist for care in this country. So I'd have to go with right now. As a 30-year-old diabetic, it would be financial burden.
Like, you saying that also brings up, I'm like, man, I have got to order more astronomical going.
My best man.
Yeah. Nope.
Financial. Brian also tagged a question onto this. Why are your fantasy teams so bad? He is, of course, referring to fantasy football. He's in a league with myself.
Take all the credit,
Zach, and then a few other friends. And some enemies.
So you're both co-hosts of the podcast?
And Brian, I think, has the best record in the league right now.
He's the only one undefeated in the league.
So you're like
he's so cool.
You're a series regular.
Listen, Brian.
I had Justin Jefferson. I got Kyron Williams, both injury reserve. Kyron Williams injury reserve out of nowhere. Thank you a lot for nothing, Sean McVay.
I'm here for the new vision.
Idiot.
It's cool that we're not.
And I just had underperformers and injuries, and every time I pick up somebody, they get injured. And for everybody to understand, it's a 8-man league. So if you score less than 110 points a game, like you have no shot at winning. So
we've got
Zach Jenkins has. This is his first time fantasy football.
This is my first time ever playing fantasy, and I'm number 3 in the league.
What's your realization that players get injured all the time?
Yeah, I did not realize how often people get injured. And also I'll say this, I'm a football fan, but I'm a fan up until this point I was a fan of my team. So I know all the players on my team.
Go Kansas City Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Let's do it up for 2 in a row. We're struggling a little bit on offense, but we're still a good team.
It's fine.
But I realized how little I knew about the NFL and players in the NFL as a whole. So when I drafted, I realized I know my team, but I don't know a lot of these other people.
Yeah.
So that was, I will say my draft was not that great, but my managerial decisions after that have
probably
brought
the
my
best
team,
in the league. I would honestly say the best in the league.
Because I went from being projected to end up 6th to now I'm 3rd in the league, and some of the people that were projected to be 1st or 2nd are
it's me,
Zach.
Well, and
the problem is
and
me.
both my in-laws.
Both
my brother-in-laws were
completely
projected to
ancillary
be
to this
top, and they
conversation
both
topic
have
today,
worse
but
records.
that's true. I did
They
make
have
mistakes in the back of my
exact opposite records than me.
It's a great story.
So yeah, our
another day.
teams
So Brian,
aren't so bad. You're just dumb.
Listen,
that?
Just
really
because
terrible.
you
It
drafted
paints me in a really
Tyreek
awful
Hill,
light. Really
who has had multiple 50-point games.
Not to harp on
wasn't
fantasy football, but do you remember that one time Brian offered you A.J. Brown for Devontae Smith and you told him no?
And honestly,
Yeah.
How dumb
that's
do you
really,
feel?
Absolutely,
that was really
like an idiot.
Like stupid
impetus
dumb
to,
head
And it
idiot
was
face.
it was
now,
it was
so it's
week
weird to say.
3.
Yeah.
Because Devonta Smith had 2 decent
so bad.
games, and
Yep.
A.J. Brown had just
Yep.
done nothing.
Yep.
And then ever since
Wow.
then, it's been the exact opposite. So,
That's got to make you feel great.
yeah, I done screwed up.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. What's next?
I was
Hold on.
I was in 12th grade
checking
when you were in 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I had to check them off as we go.
Because I'm 35. How old are you? Yeah, so sounds about right.
This one, I like this one. I'm
No,
gonna go
no.
Number 13.
Did you really?
Okay.
So
I mean, I came close a few times, but I never failed.
there's 2 number 13s.
All right. The top number 13.
Yeah. This is coming in from Michaela, Brian's wiffy,
Okay.
his wife. So it says, would Zach, that's me, Big Daddy Wayne Zach,
Yep.
would
Yep.
Zach vote for Zach, Mr. Sexy Coffee, if he ran for president? or vice versa. So I'll say I think we both have pretty similar political viewpoints and political standings. So absolutely, I would vote for Zach. I mean, I would have to see what his platform
Would I know anybody?
turns out to be, but from what I know of him so far, yes, I would.
It's
vote for Zach.
probably not for the best.
And I would vote for Zach blindly, regardless of his platform, because I'm a true ride or die.
Just based on friendship.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
also my sister.
also to
Yeah,
save our
Jasmine,
friendship, I could also say like I would
Yeah.
not vote for him as
Yeah.
president because that's just a
Yikes.
crappy job.
Yeah, we should just
Like,
I would-
people
we
are
should
always
move
gonna
on.
hate you.
Oh god.
That's the thing. I would never run for president because I don't want that.
I mean, Mark Fisher. did
But
that.
we could do like president VP combo.
Yeah,
He passed away like 2
and then
months
like
ago.
I could go hunting in the woods and
Overdose.
accidentally shoot somebody.
I mean, it
Yeah,
worked
I
for
thought you knew.
one vice president.
Yeah, no.
Big
he
Dick
died.
Energy Cheney.
OD, and his girlfriend at the time was pregnant.
I don't know if we can
yeah.
leave
We
that.
can't leave that in. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it is, Dick Cheney. That's his name.
That
but
is dark.
Um,
Did you think it was like a Tamagotchi or something? Like,
let's see here. I like this whole hopping around thing. I'm gonna go back.
He's not
I'll
staying
go to
alive.
number
He's still
2, though.
dying.
Your favorite book / podcast you're going through?
My Life, Your Life Together podcast.
Yeah, like what a get out of
What
here.
Just wanted to take your life.
What a silly question.
What a silly question.
No, that actually is a good question.
How did she? Because your
It
book
is.
attached to. Well, I had to unplug because I was running. Okay.
I'll say
Did she just rip
Man.
it out?
book.
But that
So
makes
I am in a book series right now that
Wow, well, that's a big
I
chunk we can just
enjoy.
cut out.
I will
but
say it's
was interesting.
Okay.
It's definitely not for children. It's a little intense, but it's called the Helldivers series, and so it is a post-apocalyptic kind of post-nuclear apocalypse
That's a good choice. That's good for a small child.
series.
Good choice to
That's
make.
super cool, and it's just talking about the survivors and their life, basically 250 years after, like a nuclear holocaust, and so it's got a lot of cool things in it. But it is
No. I went to attend
I've been told to. So
like special ed classes.
But
like,
before
after
that,
school. Like I had a tutor. I'm old and crusty.
my
now,
favorite
but
style is like
back then my mom had
fantasy,
me an app-
sci-fi, and so like
It's
I
the
love
cocoa
reading
butter.
through
Anyway,
like the Warhammer 40K
But my mom,
novels.
she had a actual
I've
record
actually
player in
never
her
read the
house,
novels
and
of
she had
those, but I've
these
heard that
old
they're
school like
good.
hooked on phonics
like I
actual,
started with
like,
like the Blood Angels.
records. And I'd go home.
They were
after
just
school
always my
every day
favorite
and listen to
faction.
these,
So like
and like learn how to like read and write and tie my shoes.
I
It
could
was
always
a,
read.
It was an uphill battle for
I
sure.
could always read anything Warhammer, Space Marine related.
like 6,
Blood Raven
6 or 7.
omnibus.
Yeah, I was really young.
Like 3 books in one was
Because
killer.
Oakwood, to
you ever
Zach's point,
read,
it was a private school, so the curriculum was
Halo
just
books?
it was ridiculous.
No.
I mean, I guess
Halo books
the
are actually
equivalent would be like a college.
My
prep
friend
school.
used to
It was-
read
it
them a
was
lot.
well
He read
written,
them.
very interesting.
just to kind of
They're a good book series.
yeah,
but
essentially.
there's, like,
To put it
30 of them.
into perspective,
Yeah,
I
see, that's
remember
the thing,
actually I did
like,
fail one
so far
class
behind
when I
now.
was in I think 9th or
What
10th
about,
grade, whatever grade we took algebra.
Oh
in.
my gosh, I can't
I
remember.
mean, I'm sorry, algebra 2. I failed algebra
his
2.
name?
It was like
wrote,
10th grade, so algebra 2 I
Mistborn.
failed like
It's
miserably.
a
And this is
fantasy
not for lack of
series,
trying. Like I had a tutor after
Give me one
school. I
second,
took
I gotta
after
look
class.
up.
Like I did all the
But
things
he's
I
a
could possibly
very
do
good
to, like,
writer. Brandon
pass this
Sanderson.
class.
Oh,
Long story
okay.
short,
Brandon
yeah, yeah,
Sanderson's
my average
novels.
for like
so
the
he has
four
a couple
semesters
different
of
worlds
the
that
school
he's
year was like a
created.
47.
There's one that's like sci-fi,
It was really
some
bad.
that are like fantasy.
So I had to go to summer school. So I went to
but
summer
very
school
good
at
novels.
this
I've,
public
I've
school
read
up
Mistborn.
in,
I haven't
up in Lake George
finished
because we had a
that
camp up there,
series,
so we had
but
to be close to where we were.
Mistborn in and of itself is a
so we took-
fantastic book.
Yeah.
Really good novel.
Yeah, thank you. Let's raise up in the car.
As far as podcasts,
Podcast, the only two I've listened
so I
to
had to go to summer
recently.
school, and I remember the first day. Of
And I'm
summer
trying to
school,
listen to more like
I go in,
independent
I had,
podcasts. I followed
protractor,
a lot on
compass,
Instagram recently, and I've been slowly
T1000,
working through some of their
whatever,
episodes.
Calculator, I don't know what it was. And I'm,
Kind of just to figure out what works
yes, you
for
can.
them and see if I can incorporate it,
I
make
was
this a
ready to
little
go,
better.
and
But in terms
the
of
first
like
day we're like drawing triangles.
big
Like, literally,
podcasts,
like, drawing. And I'm
It's
like,
Always Sunny
is this, like,
podcast,
real?
and
Like,
then
what's happening here?
Smartless with
Yeah,
Jason
so
Bateman, Will
that
Arnett,
proceeded to be
and
the
I-
equivalent of the
I
rest of the
always
summer.
forget
It was
the
just
other
like
guy's name.
ridiculous, like
Sean-
not even like
Sean-
scholastic in any way. Not at all. I still don't know anything about Algebra 2. But anyway,
But the concept of that podcast is they started it during COVID.
Oh yeah,
and
I had a 99
they each have a guest
average
on
in that class, and
like
it was
one person brings on a
wild.
guest per episode, but it's a surprise guest.
So you have no idea
No,
what to
yeah.
expect.
Yeah,
But,
that,
you know,
that
it's
was
fun.
the grade.
It's just
that
fun. I mean, you
got.
have three like comedic
Oh, yeah.
powerhouses on a podcast,
Yeah, I didn't
bringing
learn
in a
anything.
guest that's sometimes a comedic powerhouse and sometimes.
That's just
nah,
public
but
school
it's,
curriculum.
it's great.
Typically, I mean,
See,
if you're
one of
not in
the
AP classes or
the
the advanced
podcast that I
classes, like
probably listen to the
this is not
most
pejorative. It's just like
is
the class
Sean Ryan
material is
show.
not as.
Oh
rigorous
yeah,
as
you
I
turned me
love
onto
public school.
that.
I
Sorry, private school.
love
Because
so
private
it
school, you're
started
paying
out
for
right.
that
He's
next
a
level
he's a military
education.
veteran, retired Navy SEAL,
Yeah,
and
yeah, good
CIA
times.
contractor,
Yep.
and so he would.
90
It started
99
out.
average. I
He would
felt
do it
like
for
so-
like
so
historical purposes and
So
stuff.
brilliant.
And have
I
other
can't do math
veterans
still.
on to
I
talk
can't do my
about,
taxes, but it's
you know,
okay.
their experiences and kind of detailing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's
Like,
had
listen,
like World
basic
War
math.
II
You take care
veterans.
of
He's
this for me.
had, you know, more recent with
They
the
make money.
you know
They do
Global
make
War
money.
and terror veterans from that, and then he ended up branching out into a lot of other stories where he had on like the guy from the Machine Gun Preacher, right? The missionary that actually. So he had him on. He had some people that came out
Gerard
of, like,
Butler.
yeah, he had no, he had the real life guy, which actually is a fantastic episode. He's had
Absolutely.
on people from
Well,
like
the thing
that
is, I
came
mean,
out
I
of,
remember,
like, the
you know,
narcotics
again, back in
world,
the
like
day when I was
cartel
young,
stuff.
we used to
and then he's
my
branched
mom
out
used to make
into a
us do
lot
our
of other
taxes,
things, kind of the
like,
political
by hand.
world. He's at on
This is before like TurboTax.
So he kind of
This is
just
before
deals with
you
has
know,
on
all the
people to
computer
talk
stuff. There was no
about
app. There was no go online.
a lot of different stuff. He's
you know,
almost
you can
turned
go to
into
H&R Block.
recently more of a
So
news.
my mom, she used to. We had to go to
outlet,
like the library. I think it
but
was, and we'd get like the actual like
more has
1040
eyewitness
easy
people
form.
like he had
make
on
copies
people that
of
were
it at the
involved
library,
in
pay like 25 cents per
the
copy.
withdrawal from
And then we
Afghanistan and
would
talk
bring them
about
home.
what actually
We
happened.
each have two
You know,
copies,
he's
and we
had,
had to do one in pencil,
you know,
which my mom would then check
lots
over.
of different stuff like
and
that.
then we had to do the
It's
other
not
one
like
and
the
leads into
news that we know today.
He's out on
I did that for
political
like the first,
candidates
from like
to talk
14
about
to 18.
their
That was how I did my taxes
experience,
every
their
year.
background, and why. Like he had,
Yeah,
I showed you Vivek.
it was a great
Ramaswamy
plan. I mean, now I
came on
don't do
his
that. I don't do that
podcast,
anymore.
like,
But
I
as
like,
a kid, it taught
I
me how to
like
do my taxes.
a lot of the guests that he has on, and they just he tries to take on like big topics, you know. So
All right.
I find that one that would be my go-to.
I sat there. And
Where we
got,
heading
like,
now, boy?
The forms in the mail and stuff, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
I just read
Go
number 6.
full Will Ferrell.
yeah.
Worst thing you ever spent money on.
Yeah,
This house?
Yeah.
No.
I think that's part of the we're talking about education. It's like some certain things just
two
aren't
dogs?
taught to
No.
you that should be taught.
Dang.
I mean, and that's not just like home ec classes
That's a great
or wood shop.
question.
It's just like basic life.
Before we
skills.
So
started,
many things.
How do I do
yeah,
my
before we
taxes?
started the
You know,
podcast,
how
I
do
actually
keep
told
tire?
Zach a
There's
story of
the
like
things that you know.
it wasn't the
seem
worst thing I ever
to
spent
be
money on, but like
basic, but are not taught.
one night, Lex and I just spent a lot of money on shoes, and like they're all usable
Nice.
shoes, so I can't say it's the worst thing I've ever spent money on.
Yeah.
But it's like you just got on this like I'm gonna buy shoes, and you go on this binge and be like, oh, well, why did I buy
I
all
want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. It's the worst thing I ever spent.
Memes and YouTube, honestly.
I'm trying to think of big purchases, but you know, there's always those little things like, oh, it's
Right.
$5, $10. I'll get that, and then be like, oh, it's not worth the $10.
I'm generally pretty good. Like, I'll get ideas of all this stuff that I'm like, ooh, I should buy. But then I generally slow down and I'm like, okay, let's start looking at reviews and do I actually need this?
How are you normal?
So that's also where interesting.
I'd say probably when I first became a police officer, I was very much like, oh, blue line, and so I just went and like bought a ton of the like kind of moto like blue line everything like T-shirts and hats and stuff like that, which is funny because then I was like, I was a cop, I'm not wearing any of this out in public, not gonna show people that I was a cop. I might get so I bought a bunch of blue line stuff and then just never wore it.
That's
'Cause I was-
good.
So that probably was like spending a lot of money on that just to wear them as like undershirts.
I actually got out of social education, and then other like
I mean,
out of school programs that I was a part of, like ministry stuff, youth groups.
it's going to be anticlimactic, but honestly, like, no, like, as a teenager, probably sports jerseys. I have so many sports jerseys, and I haven't worn any of them. Hardly ever.
Stuff. So I was like,
And they're all for terrible teams.
depends on
Bite me.
the year.
Listen.
My first 2 years.
Houston Rockets, Atlanta Falcons, Manchester United, Zenit St. Petersburg, Portugal.
I was terrible my first 2 years, but our
One of
team was
Arsenal's third kits from a few years ago. It was like nice and purple and black. It was a sick kit. But yeah, I don't win with that much, and honestly, I don't even fit into any of them anymore. So we're gonna restart and just start with some Kansas City Chiefs gear and
There we
go up from there.
Is this your official like announcement that I've converted you?
Yeah, sure, why not? I'm a Chiefs fan now, everybody. Let's go.
Welcome to the kingdom.
Thank you. Let's get.
last year I played was freshman year, and we got a new coach, and he
I know. I like this one. This one will be easy. We don't have to pontificate.
Okay.
Favorite recent musical album?
he was knowledgeable, but he
Mine is Lord of the Flies and Birds and Bees by an artist named Talk. It's all caps, Talk. I just stumbled upon his music a few months ago, and then this album came out. And it's a vibing album.
See, you should know me better than that by now. I can pontificate on anything.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you.
That sounds like a really good
'Cause I-
leader. That's awesome.
I don't know that I have a specific because I don't really go for albums anymore with modern day music. It's like I hear a song and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll tell you like some of my
doesn't
favorite
sound as
artists right now
awesome as-
would be Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I was like, wow, NBA, that's incredible.
I'm sorry
yeah. So that's kind of why he was so.
Are you apologizing for?
we did really
that you
well
like country
that
music.
season.
Oh,
We made
well,
it to the
yeah.
championship. We lost the championship.
I'm
That's
from
fine.
Texas. What do you expect?
That's
But after
fair.
that, I decided I was like,
Hey, all right. So those
No
are your
billboards
artists
for the
you've
guy? No
been,
billboard?
you've been vibing
I've
with
been
lately.
vibing on,
of course we were.
and also old school jazz.
It is.
I've also been listening to a lot of that recently too.
Okay.
Now, to that,
Probably much better than I did.
well, to that point, so we went to a private school, so but we'd also have matches, and we'd
All right,
go up against
here's a very
people who were
serious
homeschooled, right? We
question.
played against like in soccer and basketball. We played
That-
against the homeschoolers, but the
yes,
homeschoolers they were really
this
good.
is,
Like especially
a question that was sent in to us.
yeah, yeah.
Do you?
I forgot about that. Yeah,
No, the
but
Muffin
there
Man.
was one like family, and they all played basketball, and it was like 3 brothers or 4 brothers,
Where does he live?
and they were just
Huh?
incredible.
Texas.
Yeah, and we'd go up against these guys, and it
I
would
played a
just,
video
it would just
game
be
with
an
them.
absolute slaughter.
I spent years playing Guild Wars, and one of my
Were
guild
they?
mates
I
was
mean,
called
I
Dan the
don't
Muffin
remember.
Man, and he lived in Texas.
Yeah, but the back and forth was hard.
So that counts.
The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man.
Muffin Man.
Oh, that's
No, I
fair.
don't know the real
that's,
Muffin
that's
Man.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. And,
either.
yeah. It was. They had like 3 or 4 sons, and we had like 3 or 4 sons on our team. So like you're right, Zach. They would kind of like we'd match up.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
knock
And,
this
like,
one out of the
I
way
was like
right
the
now.
6th man for like 2 seasons in a row.
Why is
so,
relaxing
like,
in jeans
it was a
so
good time.
great? Whoever sent
but
that in, you're a
my point being
psychopath.
to
You
kind
seek
of go
some form of
against homeschool
counseling.
kids because
Wait, where-
it was for them.
Number
It was
10.
quote unquote going out in some way.
Why is
and that's
relaxing
not to be
in jeans
pejorative
so
on homeschool kids
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
know several.
no,
Whoever
like-
said that is a psychopath.
Like some athletic
You resemble
shorts
it?
or like
Oh,
sweatpants.
you don't resent it, though. That's cool.
I
like that.
literally just hang out in my house
But
in
no,
my
it
underwear
was fun to kind of go up against
because
them
I'm
because
hot
it
all
was
the time. So
it was fun to see them kind of interacting with other people.
Nope.
It also made us feel
All right,
regular too.
your turn
Because
again.
private school, Oakland was what? There was 4 people in my
Yeah,
class.
no, well, just on
You
the
probably had what
jeans,
10 people in
like-
your class.
I wouldn't
Zach?
choose to
So-
relax. I will like sit and just chill if I don't want to change and I'm just like tired. But if I'm like really
Like the
wanting
whole
to-
school, the whole
it's
school was
like
like what
sweatpants,
150 people,
sweatpants.
like from kindergarten
Or
to
some,
12th
you
grade.
know.
Exactly. If you relax in jeans, you're a psychopath.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But to that point, it was for us. It made us feel like regular kids too, because we would go to our college prep courses during the day, but then it was like, hey, we're gonna go to a tournament up in Vermont.
Here's an interesting
which
one.
public schools would do. They
What
yeah. there was-
question
I don't know, what was
do
the name
you
of that place?
wish
That pizza
someone
was
would
really
ask
good.
you?
Yeah. No, it might have been because we were just really young and hungry, and it was free. It was free. Yeah.
What question
Good
do you
times.
wish someone would ask you?
So
What is that? Number 28?
Yeah.
aspect, and
What's a
this is why I
question you
don't,
wish someone asked you?
resent that remark is
Not would ask.
especially now that I'm older, I'm very grateful that I was
What question you wish someone asked you?
Maybe I typed it down wrong.
because I feel like I did get
What's a question you wish someone asked you? Okay, yeah, you're right.
That's not
You
true.
wish someone. You wish someone. You wish. Oh my god.
So in high
Wish
school,
well,
they had this
Yes, we both had strokes this morning.
so
I don't.
That's why we can't talk.
I don't know, man. Like,
courses, right, for homeschooling. But they had, I forget what it was called.
do you want $1 billion? Is that a viable answer?
Dual credit program.
I wish somebody would ask me that. But I guess then they could just be asking me it and not have the means to fulfill it. So,
Right.
See if you're able
um,
as a high schooler, your junior and senior year, each semester.
I don't know.
it's weird because then I have to like think of my own question, and then nobody's asking me. I'll just answer my own question.
College credit, high school credit.
That's
So
fair.
I started that as a
Yeah,
junior.
I
I
don't know.
wish someone
That was
asked
eye-opening to
me.
for the public school experience. 'Cause
I don't know.
in college classes.
I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
Yeah, I'll
With
I'll have to
18-year-olds.
think on that one.
Yeah, 18-year-olds who have
That's a good
graduated high
question
school.
again from
And, like, I
a
remember my English 13
podcast guest that has been on a couple
You're
times,
sitting there
Ponthan Jaley.
they're teaching you how to break up
Pon Jaley.
an essay
John Paley.
into paragraphs. In a college
What?
course, and they're,
Number
like,
13.
teaching you, like,
The
oh,
second
yeah,
number
when you learn
13,
that
if you
have
will.
to break it into,
13
like,
the sequel.
13 the sequel.
paragraphs when you
What
should do,
would
like,
both of you
know,
do for a job if you could have any job you wanted? This.
I didn't think that I was,
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
If I could podcast
just-
for my job, that'd be great.
and I don't still
either
don't think I
this
was,
or
think
like
they were just
I would love to
how do you not know
just like
to, like,
the homesteader life, right? I would love that. Like hang out
sometimes we were going over basic
That makes sense for
with
you.
horses, animals, out in the wood. You know, go out in
It's
the
a lot of work.
woods.
Like it's a lot of manual labor, though.
you know, those
Yeah,
classes that
but
were, like,
No, this is my shtick.
and then in my
entertainment.
downtime from that, come do podcasts.
No, I mean, that kind of
So
touches
I'll
on
do
my
it
point
full
earlier
time to
about
keep
when I
it
went to summer
going
school. It's the same
while
thing,
we
where
all
it's
live
like,
on your
we thought
homestead.
what we were
When
doing
I
was
get like
regular,
1,000
but
acres
we
and
were
I start
honestly being
breaking it up
pushed,
into family
I guess,
plots.
beyond the norm. But then when
Whenever that
we
happens,
went
I'll give you
outside
money
of
for
our
it.
regular
We'll figure
school
it out.
institution, we saw what other
What a
people
good
doing, and
question.
we were like, oh my
that
god.
was also from Michaela. Michaela, you're
what's
asking
happening?
very great questions. You had two about the one about the president, and about this. That was great. Great.
I started at Hudson Valley when I was 16. So like
Your jaw just dropped at a question, so now you have to read it.
I saw the one. Again, good question from Michaela, although could stir some
like my parents had gotten like
some interesting responses from family members. For Thanksgiving dinner, if you could trade one family member
That's good.
for one
is good.
celebrity, who would it be?
and then I got my good enough
Do it.
I would trade my entire family for Thanksgiving dinner with Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Like if he sent me an Instagram message and was like, "Hey, I want you to come down to my home and have Thanksgiving with me and my family," I'd be like, "Okay." I'd leave Lex up here with her family. If it was only me, I'd be down there in a heartbeat.
You're like, peace out, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. No remorse. That's a
Me and
once
the
in a
Rock.
lifetime
No,
opportunity.
You're like, I have friends.
I was
Trying to
homeschooled
think.
for a year, and before that, I was
What
in a school
celebrity?
with two people.
Part of
in
me
it,
wanted
so I
to
just
do
wanted
like
some friends.
a Michael Scott answer from The Office. What did he say? I'd invite like one of I forget one of the kids' names, one of the Jolie Pitts, and he said because that way either Brad or Angelia would have to come at the end of the night to pick him up.
to pick him up.
He was like 42 or 43. His name was Terrence. Absolute teddy bear of a
I don't
human.
know. That's a tough.
Grasped the concept of math. And the T-shirt was
This
I
person-
probably would go with
college level.
Chris Pratt. I just enjoy Chris Pratt. I loved him in Parks and Rec. I love him in the MCU.
All right, so for which family member?
Me and two other friends hoping this dude Terrence grasped the concept of math, and like he finished with a C, and he was so freaking happy.
He's like,
I
I
was,
passed.
I was like, what a good feeling.
That's a
this is.
tough decision
Well, it's
because I'm
interesting,
like, who's gonna
So
get
for me,
mad?
growing up, my mom was really strict with like
This part's
school
not going to
and
say it,
grades.
but
Like,
that's
school
why I
was
answered
the
it
most
how I
important.
did.
Like we were poor
Because
we
I
didn't have
immediately
anything.
texted Brian and
Sometimes we had
Michaela
hot dog
'cause
water
she did
and,
it in
like
text, and I was
open
like,
faced mustard sandwiches
"Oh,
for dinner.
I'd swap
But
out my mom for the
all
Rock."
the money would go to paying for private school because that's what.
And
my
I was
mom
like, I
thought
can't
important,
ask
and
it
she's
because
not
like.
wrong.
But
my
then I
point
realized
being
I
is,
could say
like,
my whole family.
For us, like the
So
standard
we can
was
resume the podcast with you
if
saying
you got less than a 90
My
on anything,
answer, if you want
it
to,
was
except with
considered
Chris
that you
Pratt.
failed.
I was gonna
It wasn't like, hey, you
say,
gotta be
you know,
top your best, like,
I
do
might
better
have
next
to
time.
steal
It
your
was like,
answer
no,
just
you
so I
failed,
don't
you are a
offend people.
failure.
I'll keep my
And
wife,
it,
but
like the
I'll
shame
trade
of
the
that
rest
was just
of my
it was
fucking
horrific.
dog.
I remember one year
Chris Pratt.
I was probably like
Man.
I don't know.
You're good.
Maybe 13,
I was
14, we
willing to
did
sell
ski club.
my
I
wife
think
up
we
the
did ski
river,
club.
too.
She was that, yeah. So we did ski club every year.
Like slopes.
All right.
Yeah. So I snowboard. So
Sorry, I'm from the
It
south.
wasn't
I
private
know.
enough where we were shooting.
This is a confusing
yeah,
question,
no,
but
ski
I'm
club.
just curious.
So we'd go skiing
About what
after
your answer would
what,
be.
on Fridays, I think it was.
Number
at
23.
Willard Mountain up in Greenwich.
What mammal
times. So we-
/ spider
Yeah,
crossover
you can
would
see
you
the bottom
choose?
from the top. It's
Does that
not
mean
that
as a
big.
pet?
It was
as,
fun, you know. And again,
a weapon?
to feel like normal kids. So anyway,
I'm assuming
so I
that's
remember one
as
year
like
I got
a pet.
an 89.4
So
average for like that quarter.
mammal,
89.4.
spider,
Now in
hybrid.
Yeah.
no, in
I would take
Oakwood,
the
like if
scorpion
you got
king,
89.5, they'd round it up to the nearest.
Is a scorpion a spider?
Decimal point. So you'd get a 90.
Ah,
I
so
don't
I had
think so.
89.4.
They may be
And
arachnids. I don't know.
I was
It's not a
just devastated.
spider,
And
but they're
I
an
went to my mom,
arachnid.
please, like,
Well, one player,
please.
right,
She's like,
right.
no, you're
So-
grounded for the whole winter.
Picks a
Like
different
the next,
mammal.
so
I don't
basically
have
the
to pick
whole
a type of spider, do I?
Yeah,
'Cause that's just
that
too
whole
much.
next quarter I
don't
couldn't
think you
do
have to pick
anything.
type of
So there was no snowboarding. There
Can
was
my
no
dog
youth
have
group,
8
there was
legs?
no hanging with my friends.
Sure,
There
why
was
not?
no TV.
Yeah, why not?
Nothing. It
So
was
I can
like,
have
you
a
need to
spider
be
dog?
Be steady.
Spider pig.
But that was
Spider
just
pig
the standard.
does whatever a spider
And,
pig
I mean, even to
does.
that same point, I mean, there's another year. I think probably the year I failed.
I mean,
pig,
too,
spider
that I mentioned
pig.
earlier.
That's my
It was
Yeah,
like,
I'm
that
going
whole
with spider
summer I
pig
was also
too.
grounded.
Why not?
So like I would go
For
to
somebody
summer
who's got
school,
3
and,
pigs
like, it was
tattooed
8
on his
a.m.
arm, he
I'd
has
be
to pick
on the
spider
bus,
pig.
And then
But
I'd
you
be
think
there
about
till,
that,
like,
that's kind of a
2 p.m.
creepy
It was
idea.
the
Like
longest day
imagine,
ever.
so
I'd
I like to go
drive an
hunt.
hour.
Imagine
All
if I
ancillary.
was
Yeah, it
out
was
there
a really
and
long day in
spider
school.
deer, and
I'd
all of a
come
sudden
from
this
school,
deer
I'd do
with
my
like 8
chores.
legs starts
I would go to
crawling
work.
through
I had a job
that-
at the time for
Never
like
mind.
3 hours a day. Go to work,
creepy.
I'd come home.
Yeah.
and that's all I could do. was homework.
Nightmares.
That's it. Like my friends,
This
my sisters
has been a
they'd be out
question
having
I've been
fun. They'd
wanting
be having
to
fun in the house
double
with
back
me, and
to.
I'd be like
Oh,
sitting
wait,
in the
it's your
corner
turn. I'm
with my
sorry.
textbooks, like weeping. You know, because at that point I was
Yeah.
like, 14,
Thanks, buddy.
15
Oh my
years
God,
old.
the
You know, so
attitude
I'm like,
coming
a
off of him
teenager,
right
and
now
it's
is
like you're coming into your own and trying to, make friends and be social. And meanwhile, I spend the whole summer.
See,
with
you're
my
not even
head
ready.
buried in the books.
I was not
But
prepared.
that's not a bad thing, right? I mean, because now. And,
Okay, hold on.
But
This one-
being in law school now,
From the
it's like it's giving me
executive
that
producer,
drive to-
it's 2
to
questions in
succeed
one.
and to give it that motivation to do well.
Miss
because it was,
executive
literally
producer
beaten into me
number
as a child, like,
19.
you
I
will
forgot
do
to-
well,
I forgot to
and
space them
that's
apart.
just
That's my
kinda
bad.
How I came up.
Because
That's what
2
happens.
questions.
So my wife, our executive producer, is currently out of state, and so this is what happens when she's not here to help me. I screw up her entry. But go ahead, ask the first one because
Okay.
they don't go
Yeah,
together.
I
Or
mean-
ask whichever one you want.
Obviously,
What's your dream vacation?
Your mom's house.
I knew you were.
Yeah. So out of high
I'll fight
school,
you.
yeah, out of high
Well,
school,
you'll win, too.
I
Oh man, that's
so it's a long time ago.
I'm
Pause for
definitely.
bells.
I've always wanted to go visit Ireland, so I would love like a vacation in like the Irish countryside, a little Irish cottage, go see the Emerald Isles. Like that would be awesome. I would include Scotland in that too. That'd be
See,
super
Like, hey,
cool.
Mom, I
mean,
spent
we're
the
talking
whole
about a
morning goofing
dream
off with my friends.
vacation.
Take care of the house. Though.
I'm
It's gross.
I'm thinking like a month or
That's
2
probably
month
why your
trip
wife doesn't
around
listen to
Europe.
Like
probably
like
why your wife doesn't listen
backpack
to
through
you.
Europe, not necessarily
Not
backpack, but
backpack,
travel
like-
Europe.
Yeah, like if it's a dream vacation.
I'm not your wife. Listen to me. What a shame.
If it's a dream vacation,
Yeah, so
I
out of
gotta
high school,
imagine like I
I
have
was
the
convinced
means
that
to
I
make
wanted
it a
to
dream
be,
vacation, like
like,
everything I
in
can
radio
dream
and do,
of.
like,
So I'm
TV
talking
everything.
like
on air.
So if we're
take
talking
the train
that,
from everywhere.
So
I'm
I went to
getting
school for that
driven
for-
around, so I don't have to
I was
drive in these
driving
foreign
as a
countries.
and
I want to visit everywhere over in Europe. So I'd love to hit up
yeah,
like soccer
so I got,
matches in
my associates was in
England.
applied sciences.
Go
and
see a
broadcast journalism was, like,
Manchester
the
United game
undergrad
live.
thing.
Yeah,
So I did that
That's definitely it.
for
That's,
that'd
like,
be cool.
That's
2
an
years.
achievable
And then I
goal.
went to actual,
Not a
like,
2-month trip
trade
around
school,
Europe.
quote
I
unquote,
don't
to be
think I
in
love it
radio. So,
unless
like,
I
you
podcast
go
full
to, like,
time and I
a
get to do
studio
live
and
shows
you
with
do,
you
like, your-
around
And we
the
start
country.
radio show
traveling
every day
for our
and, you know, you learn
podcast.
how to
How wild
cut together
would that
commercials,
be?
do production.
We'd have to
all that
get
kind of stuff.
way more famous. So all our
and
listeners,
I did that for
like, share,
I actually worked
subscribe.
for
If
send
all
it
of
to
our
a friend
listeners
2 or 3
just
years after
got
that.
one listener, and then
but I
they all
hated
got
it.
one listener.
In 9 years.
For a local radio station, did you have an actual radio
Yeah,
but that's
yeah,
a great.
yeah,
I mean,
no,
so
so-
do you want to alter your dream vacation answered. Like,
So
do you
what
want to
about-
think
so
more
I
I
would
big
just
picture?
add to it would
I
be
worked
like
for
Ireland,
a
Scotland,
station
like
up in
seeing
Lake
all these cool
George.
places.
I was the weekend night host, and I would basically
Yeah.
every Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday
That's like
be on the air from
there's
like 3
other
p.m.
places
till
that I
midnight,
would like
right?
to see too,
And
but that would be
the
like
first,
my main.
I think 8 hours of that
my
would
main
be
thing.
just on the air. You know, you're doing
the question I was
voice
gonna ask
tracking. You're
before I
doing,
cut Zach
commercial
off
breaks, talking about
was,
songs.
will you get me
talking about
another
new
drink? No.
artists, introducing new songs,
number
new
24.
artists, talking about promotions, things like that. And then
And it's a
the
question
last,
I've
hour,
been
hour and
wanting
a
to do
half
with you
of,
for a
like, the
while
workday, quote
because
unquote, would
it was
be,
in
like, cutting
my
commercials.
teaser
So, like, when
episode,
you
which
hear
came
a
out
commercial on
almost
the radio
5
it's
months ago
typically
at this point.
DJs who work for the station who are just
I think it came out in
reading
July.
a script for whatever the product might be.
Oh yeah, it came out in June because
I'll do
July
that.
was real episode.
Yeah.
So I did that for about 2 or
So
3
what
years.
made you guys want to start a
And then
podcast?
one day I kind of woke
What
up
made
and I
Zach
was
Jenkins
like,
want to
I
join?
hate this, which is odd because now I'm talking to a microphone
So-
again. But I literally
I mean,
hated
what
it.
made me want to start
Yeah,
it is
it's different because that's to your point.
I wanted a
that
hobby.
Life,
I needed
it's
a hobby.
Very lonely because you're literally in a room that's
I
by yourself.
wanted
It's
to for
8 by 10, the size
couple
of a prison
years,
cell.
but
It's
I
it's
figured
tiny.
it would fail
Padded
and nobody
walls,
would
you feel like you're,
listen.
in like a psych
And
ward.
then the
And
more I got
you
my
need to, like,
anxiety under
pretend to be
control,
happy
the
and
more I
sound happy,
realized
even though
that
it's 10 o'clock at night.
failure was
You've been
just
up
me
since
not
6
doing
a.m.
it
tired.
because
You're like, hey guys,
I thought
my
other
name's
people
Joe.
wouldn't care
it's
about it.
like
But really, failure is just
I did.
failure is not attempting
Damien, my name was
in the
Damien.
face of adversity. And
I think I picked it. I picked it.
I don't think
No,
it's a failure at
Damien
all. We
Jenkins,
get
I
like
think was my name on the radio.
usually around 50,
Yeah, kind of a cool name.
60 listens an episode.
Yeah.
Above that on some of the more popular ones.
Damien Jacobs in your ear.
But yeah, I did it because I wanted a hobby and
but it was really lonely.
figured I could
Lonely
use it
in
as a
my head. So it was
platform
like,
to
I need to get out
meet
of
with
this.
people, talk about things
At the time, I was
I've never
doing
talked
radio
about or talk about
and
things
also
I'm
working
passionate
at,
about.
Cracker Barrel was my
And
first
Zach
job out of high school.
Jenkins.
I was a server
So
there, oddly enough.
I know
Yeah, I was there
that
for
it was
3 or 4
actually a
years.
long time
But,
before you started the podcast.
Sure.
When my wife and I were still dating, there was one of the times we were
No,
all
no, it's
like
horrible.
hanging out.
I mean, yes and no.
And you and I joked.
Cracker Barrel,
we
it's not
joked
real.
about starting a podcast.
Yeah,
We did.
yeah.
He didn't know I wasn't joking though.
Yeah, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to get
Because
sued.
I thought I was like,
we don't
yeah,
want to get
that'd
sued.
be
So
a
we're not
fun
going to be
idea. Like,
libelous here.
Was
but-
that when I broke the chair
I'm
at
not
your
a,
house?
I'm not a great
no,
fan.
we were
lived
already
up- you
married.
lived up
of
here,
the
yeah.
second chair.
Personally.
Come on, Brad.
I forgot
but
about
so I was
that.
No,
working
that
at
was
the time,
I.
and I remember
We were out at like a restaurant somewhere.
I
May have been Browns.
Yeah. Something. But we're talking about it, and
I tried to.
like I always thought, like, hey, that'd be a fun idea, like just to sit around with friends and just talk about whatever.
Pause-
you know,
pause
I always
for
just thought that
racism.
would be funny. I never, but I was always like, no one would listen to that. Like, no, I'm not interesting enough for someone to sit and listen to it.
Yeah.
And then Zach was talking about actually doing it. And I was like, huh. And then he was like, yeah, I'll have you on as a guest. Like, I have ideas for things to talk about. So, right, I came on, and I was like, this is actually a lot of fun. Like, I have fun time doing it and had some ideas. And then I was like, man, that would be cool to like do more of. And it was actually around that time that Zach came to me and was like, hey, I actually
so I was doing that,
would
working
like
at Cracker Barrel at the time. Cracker Barrel is
someone
that's
to, like,
the
co-host
whole
with
part.
me
That's
and
all I'm
help
saying. Nothing beyond
run
that.
the show
I was
and
working there also.
do ideas together.
And I didn't like that
you
job. I
guys
hated
like,
my
would
radio
you be willing
job,
to do it? And I was like,
and I
funny you
wanted
asked.
to do something
I'm
different.
super down.
So,
absolutely
I remember
down.
one day I was
Basically,
actually
what
at
he's
the
saying
mall
is he
over
waited-
here in Albany.
He waited
and
until I bought all the
was going
equipment
shopping for, like,
and
new clothes,
spent
something like that.
most of the money up
And
front
I
before he
walked
decided to
past,
sign on.
the
Yeah.
Cheesecake
I
Factory.
was
and I
like,
was like,
I'll let him.
yeah, and
get off
I remember
the ground, and
I was
I'll
walking
just,
through the mall, and they had these
sneak
big
in.
windows that you could see into the dining room. And it was like a Tuesday lunch, and it was busy as heck.
Pause.
I'm like, how is it so busy right now? And all like the servers, they look so happy, and like
I like this.
comparative to my job at the time, I'm like, man, everyone that I could work with is miserable. So I walked in, and again, this is years and years ago, and like they still had paper applications. You couldn't even apply online. Like, hey, here's an application, go fill this out. So I filled out the application like that day, and I hired that day, and I started working the following like Monday or something like that. So I did that. I served there for about 3 years. Oh, I'm sorry, still there for about a year. And in that time, I actually got fired from the radio station. So I got fired from the radio station because I missed a promotional event, and we were all doing things. Well, Zach was playing with his GPS, Tamagotchi, yeah, and you were doing something with your headphones. I didn't know what to do. It's business time. No, it's fine. Yeah. So no. So those things are a really big deal because essentially,
They
like,
really went downhill though.
the station
Yeah.
is being paid by
Well, it's because
whatever
the one
vendor it is
started
to
getting
come
into
to whatever
movies,
event
and
it
then
is
the
to
group
promote
just
said
kind of
event.
fell apart.
So I remember I was supposed to go to this event for like I think Toyota, like one of the car dealers.
believe
Toyota, maybe
I
Leah
believe
Kia,
it's
I don't
your
know.
question,
And I was supposed to be there
Senor Yak.
at 5 a.m. to start because the broadcast would go out at 6 a.m. And I misread the direction, so I thought it was supposed to be 5 p.m. starting at 6 p.m. So I worked
The anonymous.
that morning at Cracker Barrel thinking
You
I was
finally
I'm not
got
going
to
to choose
work.
that one. I'll
I'm-
let
My
you-
phone's
I'll
like
read
blowing up
that
in my
one.
pocket the whole time. I'm like, well, I was busy, so I didn't have time to like read, to read the text messages and answer the phone. So I got to work, and it's like it's my boss like freaking
This
out.
one is a really good
So
question.
I got fired.
This one's going
it's
to
all
be
good.
really
We all
hard for
learn
me to
things.
answer.
So
Uh-oh.
at this point, I'm only
you can
at Cheesecake
only
Factory,
choose
and I'm
one
serving there for about
to
a
watch
year
for
and
the
a couple
rest
months.
of your life.
And
Marvel,
in that time, I would go and open up
DC,
new restaurants.
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter,
As a server,
or
like,
Star
I'll go
Wars.
and train new servers, like how to. Like,
There's one I can
work at
rule out
Cheesecake
right off the
Factory
bat.
and, like, how to do your job. So I did that
DC.
for a couple of years.
I'm
and I
sorry,
opened, like,
DC
2 or 3 restaurants
Universe.
up.
The
And then
movies
I
have
remember
not
one time I
been
came back from
great.
one of those restaurant openings,
No, I
and
like
all of
DC
my
Universe
friends were asked to
shows,
become managers,
movies.
right? Except for me.
I do like them.
And I
I
was-
love
was
DC
like- I
comics.
was-
like
yeah,
they'll always hold special.
that can't be
But
right.
if we're talking about
And
watching,
maybe
I definitely got to rule that
way
one
if you
out
want to,
too.
but I don't know. I was
And that's the thing,
insanely
right? I
jealous,
love-
and
I
was
love a
like,
lot
well,
of the
how come I can't be a
DC
manager? So I went to
superheroes,
the
villains.
GM at the
There's-
time,
there's
the
a lot of
recruiting
cool stuff
coordinator. I'm like,
there,
hey, I'm
but
like,
as
I wanna
a
be manager too.
cinematic
Did I really want to be a manager?
world,
No, I just didn't want to be left
they're
out.
just
That's
not
what
up
that's
to
what it came
par
down
with
to.
the rest.
I feel like I want to give
severe
two
FOMO, I
answers
guess
for
you'd call
this.
Okay.
And
Because
so like, yeah, you can be a manager.
like,
And I
which
just
is
kinda,
my
like, fell into
favorite to
that.
watch? The answer is Harry
then I-
Potter. I will watch Harry Potter
yeah,
all,
so I
all the
became a manager
movies
over and
once a
over.
month if
Yeah.
you want me
I
to.
was really young.
But there's a
I was really young.
limitation on that.
And
So for the rest of my
I
life,
did that for
I mean,
God, 12 years.
I can't imagine
Actually,
they'd
yeah.
ever get boring. But
Initially, my plan was
they probably
first 5
would.
years. I'll do it
What
for
by
5
the
years.
time I
that's
hit,
it.
you know,
I'll be
87,
manager till
88
I'm
or so.
27, and then I'll be done.
So
That was the plan.
like,
but, you know,
do I hedge
how
my
it is,
bets
you know,
and be
you're
like, well, now I got to
young,
pick
and
stuff
you
with the
make
most
dumb choices.
content,
You don't
really
realize how the
space
world
it
really
out.
works, you
Because
know?
Marvel, you're
'Cause then that's, like,
talking
where you're making,
the
you know,
cartoons,
money,
you're talking
Yeah.
you get health
the
insurance, you get all these
MCU, you're
benefits,
talking
you
about
get
the
free
shows.
food.
That's
Like,
true.
So
your schedule is
But with
somewhat
that-
malleable. You know, it was
Honestly,
a good life.
So,
But
Lord of the
it's a good
Rings, I'll
life
have
when
to
you're
rule
young.
out as well.
You know,
I love it.
and one day I woke up, I was, like,
Phenomenal
30 at the
movies.
time.
I
I'm like,
love
I
The Lord of the
hate it.
Rings,
I
but
hate it because it's
Kinda
you're busy all
similar
the time,
thing.
but it's
They're-
like you
they're-
go to work
they're
at 3
limited.
o'clock in the afternoon,
Yes.
get out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and have to
great
get back to work at
movies.
9
I
a.m.
like the original
9 p.m.
trilogy better than
and then go home.
the
sleep,
Hobbit movies.
shower,
I never
shave,
watched the Hobbit trilogy.
all that.
if
You're
I'm
back
being
to work the
honest
next
with you.
morning at 6 a.m.
I heard I wasn't
You know,
missing
that's,
anything.
and that's on the weekend. So like you
They
can't see your
changed
friends,
some stuff
can't see
that
your
made
family.
things a little weird,
Also-
and there's
also
just
the
too much
holidays,
CGI.
nights,
I like
weekends,
that
they're
the
just
original one
consumed
relied
by
more
this
on
beast of
actual
your job.
visual
So you have no
effects,
social
makeup,
life,
rather
to a
than
degree. Like, you can fit it in
CGI.
here and
There's
there,
too
but
much
it's like,
CGI in
it's
the Hobbit,
sporadic.
in my opinion.
And it doesn't really fit in with being, you know,
But
who I want to be,
I
like, as an
honestly,
adult and,
so
have, like, friends
I
and
love
a
Harry
social life and
Potter,
family.
but I also
So,
I love Star
I'm like, I'm
Wars
just finding
and
an
Marvel
off-ramp.
more.
I need to get out of this.
So it's
I need to get
really
out.
between those two, and if
but
I
again,
have to
it's
choose
hard to
between
kinda-
Marvel and Star
At
Wars,
30 years old now,
I
figure
gotta
out
go
like
Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars.
how do I get out of
nerd
this?
at the core? And kind of like you said,
yeah, oh yeah, you know, because
it's on par with Marvel as far as so many
well, I mean, he's homeschooled. so he doesn't know
shows
anything.
and movies and stuff.
about
Marvel
real
has
life.
more, but it's still.
I feel like
and feel free to
if I
jump
just
in
twist
anytime
a
here.
word of the question,
So then, again, I'm like 30
Like,
years old, and I'm like,
you can
I hate
only
my
choose
life.
one
I need to do something else. But you know, change is
content
hard
for the
you know?
rest of
You
your
step
life,
out into the unknown.
it's
and
hands
like,
down Star Wars
You
for
step out
me.
of being comfortable.
Because then you get
Imagine
all the
being in the
books,
same
you
job
get
for
all the
10 years, it's
novels,
like,
you
it's
get all the
comfortable.
everything.
True.
You know, and it's like, well,
Marvel
you see all the
obviously
stuff
has comic
out
books
there,
and all that
oh,
stuff
I
too,
can do
but
that, but then
I
you're
know
like,
I would
well,
enjoy the
Star Wars Legends.
what I had
yeah,
oh
my
the Star Wars
gosh.
Maybe what I
lore
have
that
here is
builds
good
upon
enough.
itself
amazing.
is amazing.
Yeah,
I would probably pick
and
Star Wars too.
I just became more and more just
I'm glad
disassociated with my
I'm
life
glad
and
we
my
both
job.
picked
I just
the
hated
correct
it.
answer.
Yeah. That was
so
a great
remember
question.
one day, one of the bartenders at the restaurant was going to like U Albany.
Man, some of these
and he was
questions are going to
to
get us in
some
trouble too. I
classes
don't know
and
why
he
we're
was
saving saving all the hard
going
questions
down
to
just
the
to
end.
set up
So
some classes.
I'm just gonna bust
And he's
out
like, hey,
with
you know, Joe, you should come
number
with me.
12.
And I'm like, nah.
One take about
Why?
a topic you feel
What am I
so
gonna go pay
strongly
$80
about.
for? You know, 'cause
But I guess I could have a
how many people do you know that
strong
have, that nice
take
piece of
on a
paper up
dumb
on the wall that
topic.
costs $80,000? And they're still
Yeah.
looking at, Hop shop doing
Drinking and
nothing.
driving,
Just do
why is it
a
illegal?
Piece of paper on the wall. They're not,
servers.
right, exactly. Exactly. They're not using that degree. So why am I going to go
strong
spend 80
take,
grand
your
on
hot
this,
take.
on this degree that I don't really need anymore, right? So- I tell my mom about
and I'll be
this
honest with everybody,
interaction that I had with the bartender.
the-
and she's like,
the
you should go.
strongest thing I
And
have
I'm like, well,
on like a
I'm
hot
like, why?
take about a
And
thing,
again, I gave her the
I
same
can't say on the
answer I gave
podcast
you,
because
it's dumb.
they just
half
can't
of the
do
world-
it.
It'll be
they
too
had degrees in
controversial.
English
Yeah,
and
like,
psychology
it'll be-
and blah,
it'll be
blah,
way
I'm not
too
using
much.
There's degrees, so why am I going to do that, Mom? That's foolish.
Yeah.
And
I
she's
was
like,
gonna
"Oh,
say
Joseph, go take one of those like career aptitude tests.
the things that I
And
feel
now I'm
the
just like, this is
strongest about are
ridiculous. I don't
gonna
have to do
be
this,
very
no.
controversial
yeah.
topics.
So therefore, exactly. So
So I don't know how much we
I'm like,
wanna
fine. I'm like,
get
fine. Mom,
into
I'll go home, I'll
those,
take this
but,
test. So I go online and it was like mynextmove.com. I think it was,
Well,
something like
I
that,
feel like
and it was
this
a
isn't
hour-long,
controversial, but I do feel
test where you
strongly
answer
about
those
it.
questions about your proclivities and there's things
There
you
either
like,
needs
things
to
you don't
be
like.
age
And,
limitations,
So take the test.
term limits,
and it was
or
the top
cognitive
three answers
tests
were number one was be a lawyer.
Hallelujah.
Number
Preach.
2 was
for
be
government
a
officials.
politician, I
Yes.
think, and
Term limits.
number 3 was be a teacher.
'Cause-
And instantly, to your
Term
point, Zach,
limits and
I was,
salary
I was
caps.
like
Yes.
firing up the
All of
excuse
that.
machine about why I couldn't do any of these.
Because like
things.
I have so many
feel very
patients.
strongly
Yeah,
about
No,
that.
so
immediately
many
I was
patients
like,
in my office
lawyer,
that get
I'm like, it
evaluated for
costs
like
so much money,
dementia and
it's
stuff,
3 years
and I'm
long,
like,
Are
it's
younger
really
than
hard,
yeah, they're young,
government officials.
Yeah,
I can't
what
work at the same time.
what is that?
I have all
It's
these
just
excuses.
asinine
Number 2,
to me.
be
We've
a
got
We're not letting
politician,
these people
don't have
drive,
jobs,
but
patients,
degenerate
we have
certain
other
parmesan
Exactly.
cheese. I'm like,
So I'd say
I
that's
don't
one
need
that
any of
like
that.
I
I'm
feel like a lot of people
be a
can
teacher. I don't
agree
wanna
with
do
that.
I hate kids.
Term limits
they're
and
all-
salary caps. You shouldn't
Yeah,
be able to vote. Like, if I
And
could
those who
vote
can't
for
teach
to
gym,
make
that's what I hear.
to increase my salary,
so
like
I-
of course, who's not going to do that?
Yeah.
Right. I vote to give me more money. Of course I do. Right? Like
No,
that's
no.
such
I
a
already
dumb.
have
I hadn't thought
Let's
of
give
this,
it
and
such
honestly,
a
that's
dumb
probably
idea.
probably not
Like
wrong.
who is going to vote no?
But so
Yeah.
I took the test, and those are the answers.
All right,
and
what's next?
I'm like, again, I'm trying to come up with all these excuses about why I don't want to do
in
it.
the spirit of that
And,
same question,
Uh-oh.
And
Let's
I
hit-
called my mom with the
let's
results. My
do
mom,
another,
this is what the test said. This is really dumb.
hard-hitting
Blah
one.
blah. And she's
what
like, "No, you
is
should
one
be a lawyer."
belief or philosophy
I'm like,
that you vehemently
because you know how it is. You listen to your mom. She
disagree
tells you
with.
something, and you're like,
Vehemently disagree with.
"No, mom's usually
Vehemently,
right."
if you will.
Usually, right?
Vehemently.
So I'm like, okay. For the most part, mom's usually right.
So,
I'm like,
belief or
I'll look into it.
philosophy.
and then fast forward.
I-
2 3 years
I
later.
have
I'm in
a
my
philosophy
second year of
that
law
I
school. And it's
vehemently
like,
disagree
it's
with.
wild to
would
think
be,
that that's all kind of
moral
transpired.
relativism,
But
right? Because without so more
Yeah, explain it for the people listening. Definitely
moral
them.
relativism, right? Is your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth. Morality is relative to, so it really leaves there.
yeah, there's definitely
Nothing
a
means
gap
anything
there, and
then.
definitely a curve.
What's true for me is true for
Well,
you.
a lot of the
me, and
skills
what's true
you
for you
learn
is true
in
for
the
you. What
restaurant
if my
industry
truth says
definitely
yours is a lie?
transferred. But there was definitely, I guess,
Like,
a financial.
it's just
that was the biggest
dumb stuff.
part of my
Nothing
life where I
means
was
anything
like,
at that
I
point.
need to have a plan
Because it's all subjective.
because it's not just. Oh, I'm
Which
gonna
at
go to
that
school.
point makes
it's like,
no
you need to
right
have
and no
money to
wrong,
live
because
off while
what
you're
if
in
it's right
school,
for
you need
me?
to have,
If it's wrong for you, well then it's
a
right.
plan
for
financially.
it's
'cause
just
school obviously is expensive, not just textbooks, but just you can't really work really at all. The first year they're like you can't work more than 20 hours, and literally you
It's
cannot.
just too subjective.
It's not
Nothing
physically
means anything
possible.
anymore.
Just the,
I mean, I'm
yeah,
coming,
the
and
coursework
mine I'm
is
coming
utterly
in from
insane.
a more
So,
religious
at the
standpoint,
time,
but I think
I put in my 1 year notice at the restaurant. I
Even
gave
if
them a year.
you're
I'm
not
like, listen,
religious
on
or
this
whatever,
day,
is
August
the,
16th,
the
2022.
idea of
is my last day.
predestination. I know that's a thing.
So
That's
in that time, I essentially
lot.
stopped spending money on
But, like,
anything. If I didn't need it,
I don't believe
didn't
we live
buy
in a
it. It
script.
was like I ate ramen noodles
My
for
life's
like
not
a year. Like, I
Yeah.
just didn't buy anything.
But
I agree.
And then
It's
I
way
bought
more
a 2-family house. So that way
complicated
when
than
I was in
that.
law school, I wouldn't need to worry about having to pay for my rent. Kind
and I would say we can turn it into a whole other
I just
episode, but
essentially
we're
saved
never going to
every
do that.
dime that I could
Okay, I'm not going to
possibly
say
save.
never. But I have no idea what that looked
And then
like
started
because
law school.
that
But
would get
most of
confusing very quickly.
The change, I guess,
that's
really
mine.
came down
Yeah.
to like, I'm not really sure if I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to ask you a question off the podcast.
It
now.
came down to the fact that I
Well, I'm
didn't
going to
want
ask you now before I
waste the
forget
next 3
because it
years.
was something Pastor
You know,
Charlie
and
said.
that was really the thought process for me, where it was like, whether I go to law school or not, these
He's talking
3 years are
about
going to go
how
past
he doesn't believe
either way.
that
And I didn't want to wake up and be 37.
once you're saved,
and
you're
still be in the
always
same spot.
saved.
And it came down to the fact that,
that
I
he
don't
believed
believe that
if I
either.
do this
Okay.
thing,
Because
and
the Bible
I hate it,
clearly
I'll have the
states,
degree,
talks
and,
about those that
having
have
JD
followed
opened
God
up a lot
and
of doors
fallen
for you.
away.
Absolutely.
are
and I could
basically
say
worse
I went
off
and did
than
it
if
'cause
they
I
had never
wanted to do
believed
this thing.
in God.
Right.
You know,
And
the
like he
first
backs
time.
it up with like scripture
And
and
I
everything.
think
But
that,
like I know,
now that
you
I'm in
know,
it,
a lot of
and looking
people who
back,
believe, you know.
Once
2
saved,
years ago,
always
I'm like,
saved.
thank
I
Yeah.
said the prayer. I'm
Thank
good
God
to go.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Like,
out of
no,
this
the
thing.
Bible
And that's not to
clearly-
be, pejorative on
To
the
me,
restaurant,
clearly
because
addresses
it
it.
gave me so much.
and
in my
talks
life.
about like
I can't.
I mean, it
at
talks
all
about
be
signs of
upset
the
about
end
it. Like,
times
it's
is
given me,
the hearts of many will
friends
grow
and
cold.
I've met so many
Take heed not to be
interesting people and
deceived.
connections
fall
and
away.
obviously
Like
certain
it
life
talks
skills
about,
that
there
I
were
mentioned,
believers,
they transfer over
and
from
I don't
working
think
in
it's
restaurants
like
to being in law
people
school
that
because
followed
anybody.
Jesus but didn't.
and there's no.
they were
I'm
actually
afraid to
saved.
speak
No,
to
I believe
people,
it's talking about true
I have
believers
stage
that
fright
fall
'cause
away. Yeah.
You're constantly as a manager, you're on stage.
So
All right, so we got some hard hitting questions
High
out of the
conflict.
way
I mean,
there.
I could tell you stories about the
Let's
restaurant.
lighten it up.
They'd scare you.
Let's lighten it up.
But they teach you, like I said, like conflict
I think it's my
resolution.
turn. You
Oh,
just
it
have
is-
to
it
fill out
is your
your
turn.
one.
Composed,
So
you
I'm
have
gonna go
a
down.
strong
This was
demeanor even though you're
submitted
under high pressure and high stress.
anonymously.
And
in
people
fact,
do that.
Anonymous.
so you
those
could have
things,
submitted
they
questions to
can't
the
really be
website,
taught
which is
to
how I
you in
got a
classroom.
lot. You can
They
put
really
whatever you
can't.
want
You
in
have
the
to learn
name
those things,
section. You
you
didn't
know,
have to put
in
your
the
name.
fire.
So this
and you're out there
person
experiencing it, exactly. Obviously,
don't
you were
worry
taught
about
before.
it in
Those
the name
skills, they
section.
transfer
I've got a
to
good
whatever
answer to
you're
this
doing,
question, by the way.
beyond that.
Anyways,
And
So
then the
go ahead.
question was, who's been your favorite guest so far, and why is it Nate Ryan? Sincerely, totally not Nate Ryan.
Well, anonymous
Yeah, so
question asker.
yeah,
was
so
totally not
Not
Nate
Nate- yeah,
Ryan.
definitely not Nate
definitely
Ryan.
not Nate Ryan. I would
American
say
law is the
the
thing.
favorite
So
guest
you could be in like the
of
JAG
the
Corps and you
podcast
could be like a military lawyer. That's the
has to be Zach Jenkins because he went from guest to
It's not.
co-host.
Yeah. Tomato.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That being said,
Nate Ryan's a close second.
on a very real level.
Oh yeah, like, I'm so
Nate
new right now. Like,
listened to
there's
the
so many.
anxiety episode.
Well,
He
definitely.
wanted to talk about a depression aspect of it. Reach
wanna
out
play with my
to
Tamagotchi.
ask if he could come on and talk about it.
What? Are we sharing needles?
Came on, and
Can I-
it's our second most listened
Yeah,
to
I was gonna
episode
say he
of the
came on and
entire
it's now
podcast.
one of our most popular.
So he's
episodes.
definitely is a favorite.
I know I do,
Um,
but I'm trying to be
and
healthy and economical.
he
And I feel like
told
you know,
me
if we
that-
share anyway.
He is starting his own podcast.
I saw
which I
some
think
guy,
is
they
cool.
were
Some,
sharing
again,
needles,
same as
getting
me.
a
He always
COVID shot
wanted to,
behind
but never
the
did it, and then
Hannaford
kind
earlier.
of like
And I was kind of taking the.
was kind of like, oh, so Zach's doing it. Like
Give
I can do
those
it too.
boosters in,
Yeah.
you know?
Um,
Come on.
He doesn't have social media
yeah, so
set
the
up
law.
or anything.
There's
He's
so many different
Does he have a name?
opportunities that are out there where there's a law. There's so many
podcast?
different
I believe
types
it's
of
the
laws that mention,
518
like, obviously
Catalyst.
maritime law is one, but
Okay.
there's property,
I
business
could
law,
be
trust and
mistaken
estates.
though.
So for our
litigation,
listeners, just
labor,
watch out
employment.
for us.
Yeah,
So
when-
I've
once
been
it's set up,
interning
we'll
this
we'll
summer
leave a link
at a
and
law firm
we'll
over
give him a shout
in
out.
Courtney
and
Woods doing
link
a lot
to
of labor
his,
and employment law. 'Cause I kind of
podcast
was informed by
and
my life
all his
before working at
pages and
Cheesecake
everything.
Factory and
Yeah,
hiring
but
people.
he's.
So I kind of
I mean, he's
did that
a
this
great
summer.
speaker,
I enjoy
and
it.
he
It's
has a
interesting.
lot of friends with
But then this fall,
a lot of friends
this
with
fall
knowledge about
semester, I'll
different
be
things. So I'm
at
really
the,
super
Albany
excited
County
for him
DA's
to start
office
making
doing,
episodes
like,
so I
criminal
can listen to him and
So you
maybe
kind
even
of
get some.
while you're in law school, you
tricks
kinda
of
experience
interviewing and
different
stuff
parts
like
of
that.
law that
So,
are
Nate,
interested
you
in, and
know,
kinda-
You might not be the favorite.
no, it's part of the
but
curriculum.
you're
So you,
Sorry,
so
buddy.
you're top
Yeah,
one
so
and
you,
a
so you
half.
do so you do a field placement.
Top one
Top
and a half.
So you do a
one and
field
a half.
placement,
I only beat you out by
at
half.
Oh wait,
the
I'm
DA's
sorry.
office,
Anonymous.
and you get
Sorry,
Anonymous,
He was
person.
anonymous. Yeah.
something like that.
He's
for
yeah,
the
anonymous
12 weeks of the
person
semester,
asking
or however long it
about
is.
Nate.
And you kind of get exposed to that particular area of the law, and then it helps you kind of figure out by the time you get to your third year of law school, you're like, okay, I want to do this kind of law, or here's what I want. I want to be a prosecutor. I want to be a criminal defense attorney.
Going to
I
page
want to
2.
be a marriage,
Yeah.
divorce.
So-
attorney, whatever, and you can kind of pick what you like.
Here's an
And it's kind of
interesting one, I
informed
think.
by actual experience.
This
while you're
again
in
is
law
coming
school. 'Cause
from our own
'cause obviously,
Ponjali.
You read a lot in law school. There's so many different
You
types of
and
there's torts
everyone
and
you've
criminal
had
law
on
and,
the podcast so
civil
far
procedure,
are stranded on
There's
an
so many different
island.
courses
Okay.
you take in law school, but
Who
it's
gets what
not the
job?
same, 'cause you're
What
only
a
reading a book, you're reading
fantastic
cases.
question.
That is a great
Some of the cases are
question.
kind of weird. They're pretty crazy.
Can I call
But
dibs
you-
on hunting
you can't
stuff?
Really read these cases and these.
Oh,
books and be like,
absolutely.
This is the kind of law I want.
Yeah, there's nobody else I would trust
Hunting,
with that.
fishing, I can take care of that.
I don't want to. This seems very presumptive, but I feel like I should be the leader.
You're like, I'll be in charge.
I think I just have great leadership skills.
You
And I
and the
inspire-
little executive producer.
And I
Yeah,
inspire
yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
No, she can't make the hard decisions.
Yeah.
like that.
So
and I inspire confidence.
It didn't at all.
I'll follow you.
Yeah?
I'll follow you as the leader.
Wow,
Yeah.
that went over easy. Alex Johnson
Is the cook.
Yeah,
He's the camp
Yeah.
chef. Yeah.
No.
Thank God we
Absolutely.
had a culinarily trained chef who
Yeah.
went to chef school.
'Cause-
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
On
it
an
was
island,
culinary
I'll catch fish and hunt whatever and gather fruits and coconuts and whatnot, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
it
he'd
was
make
really-
something
exactly,
phenomenal
it was-
out of it.
I
Yeah.
always
Like, he'd do
wanted
a great
to do this,
job.
you know,
Brian
when I was a kid. You see people on
Lawrence
TV. I
Would
remember
be a
watching
meat
like,
shield because he's good
Disney
at getting
Channel,
stabbed.
You know, back in the day.
Well,
and, you know,
No.
We have to start over.
Yeah, or
All right,
what was it,
Brian,
Johnny Copahara
I
back
think
on
would
board.
be
Remember that movie? With, you know, the surfer.
Our like tech innovative
Is that
like
what it was?
You
his
you
name?
just heard him
Johnny
earlier this
Copahara?
morning.
That
He
was his
doesn't know
name,
anything
right?
about tech.
But there
What
was
tech
two
is on
movies.
Desert
There was-
Island?
There was a sequel.
I don't know.
And it
There's
was
a
back
Desert
on board.
Island
That was the
stuff.
name of the
Wait,
movie.
What tech is on
would
an
he
island?
not be an inventor and like invent some
This
sort
man
of
with trivia, bro. I
contraptions?
know my Disney Channel.
I don't know. He's
All right.
smart.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely part of the brain trust.
Yeah, I was like, he's smart. He would
Dead air for cutting.
come up with stuff.
Yeah.
Either that, or we'll put
Yeah,
him
so
on
you see all
the
these, like, these
planning
younger
committee
folks. I
for
remember seeing,
our
like,
rescue.
you know,
Like,
Shia
all right,
LaBeouf
buddy,
when he
you
was,
figure
13,
out how to
I was
get
like,
us
I
off
wanna
this
do
rock.
that kind of thing. Yeah, it's such a great show.
Okay. What about
and then I grew
Michaela?
up and
Because
obviously
Michaela
kinda
did
got
episode
away
of
from that.
Cocaine Bear.
But then one
She
day
was
I
on
was like
the
maybe 23,
podcast.
That's
24,
true.
and I was actually at the restaurant one day, and I
I feel
was,
like
I had to
her and
go do a
Lex could
table
just be
visit,
the
and one of
character.
guests
Like
was
So
they're
sexist.
mothers.
You
Steak
are
would burn
so
and, like,
sexist.
No,
wife's
it's
food.
not
Oh
like a
my
sexist
God.
thing. It's like
You know,
they're
just-
the nicest.
Oh,
They're gonna take care
disaster.
of
It was
people.
chaos. They waited too long in the lobby. The baby's screaming across the street. Like everything was
But
horrible.
you're right, though.
So I
It's
had to
not
go
a
to this table
sexist
visit,
thing. It's
and
just they're
just
the
screaming
nicest,
at me.
and they're gonna
And
look out and care for people
One of
more
the
than
guy at the end of the table, he was quiet.
More than
He
I
didn't have any
probably
problems.
No, you're
And as I
absolutely
was
right.
leaving, after I finished solving the problem
John
by giving them everything for free,
is
they,
our-
the guy was like, "Hey,"
is
he's like,
our
"Hey, come here."
utility.
I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was
Like,
like, "Hey, look,
I feel like
we're-
I've never met a
give me
person
good look.
who you could
know,
tell
you
to
should,
do
you should
something,
and he'll figure it out.
and
come to
he'll
this
just
audition
figure it
on
out. He'll
Saturday.
have no
It's
idea.
for this fashion show.
be like,
down
"I'll
in
make it work."
Atlantic
Like
City.
you come up with plan
And I'm
A
like,
and maybe plan B.
Am I being, like,
John
too
has
graphic
already
right now?
gotten to
Like,
plan
literally,
F,
it's,
M, and Q
yeah.
before you
yeah,
even start
exactly.
action.
It's like,
So
does
John
it
is
smell like
definitely,
it's like chloroform to you?
bounce
It was
ideas
scary.
off of and
So I'm
your
like,
utility
I guess
guy.
I'll look into
Just
it.
Like
Whatever.
if you give him
So I went
like,
home
hey,
that night
I
and
need this to
Googled,
happen, he'll
anything
be
I
like,
could Google
okay.
about this thing and this event,
Okay.
and it's awesome to be
and
on
he'll
board.
figure
So I
it
was
out.
like, yeah, sure, why not?
Joe
So I
Vogt.
went to this audition and. You know,
Joe
I got,
Vogt's also part of the
selected
brain
to be in
trust.
this runway show in
Yeah.
Atlantic City.
And I would
then from
I
there,
would
it kinda just kinda
say
blossomed into, like, 'cause you meet
there's going to be
people and you
conflict
hear
that
about other events
arises
and
on an
eventually,
island.
you
Yes.
There's
kinda connect
not
with
many
and
people
you know, like, hey, listen, there's a
better versed for
fashion show in New York City, and suddenly
de-escalation
you're
of
walking in
any
your fashion week kind of
situation
thing.
than Joe
and then you meet
probably.
people up here.
I think that is.
He
yeah,
is-
it's
and
a
he's
couple
very
people up here in
insightful,
Albany
so I
and
think
kinda got into
Understanding,
local
insightful,
stuff
and soft-spoken.
like,
Yeah,
couple
he
movies
would have.
here and there.
He would be able to.
But it was fun. It was something that I kind of
solve and resolve conflict